What's good, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So we are back here as usual at the minute. Today I'm going to be putting all this away. So I've got all my components laid out, all my glands and stuff. I've just been having a bit of an organise ready before the day's work. Yeah, we're going to put these NYYs away, these armoureds away, hopefully make off the board, main switch, get the armoured in too, and just show you all that sort of stuff. Not showing too much, but showing you enough to keep it interesting. Cam is over in some of the other units mounting some Europa 160 amp isolators, so I'm going to be dipping between helping him out just because he's done nothing like that before, and yeah, back here. So while I'm hoping to get this all done today, it might not, just because I'm sort of running between there and here and stuff like that, but yeah, I'm going to try my best, and it's not too bad, to be fair. There's literally there's like 8 circuits, so yeah, you know, nothing too dramatic. So yeah, I'm going to start by glanding the armoureds off. I'm going to show you how you do that with the trunking in situ and with the armoureds in situ, how I tend to do that anyway. There's a few different ways, but yeah, I'll show you how I do that. I'll go through the contactors and the last man out switching, and then we'll just come down to the board. We'll start building the main switch and getting the armoured in and all that sort of stuff too. As always, guys, if you haven't already, please like, subscribe and hit that bell button. It really supports the channel, what I'm trying to do. Thanks for all the support as well. At the time right now, I don't know when this video is going to come out, but at this moment in real life, we've just hit 8,000 subscribers, so that's mad. I've been doing this since December last year. I've got like 25 odd videos out. And yeah, it just blows me away. Like, I really appreciate it, and as long as you guys keep coming, I'll keep making the videos. So yeah, I really appreciate all of that. Let's get into the video. Right, so like I said, I was just getting very organised this morning. I find if you have everything prepped and what have you, it just makes life a lot easier. You're not rummaging through boxes and sort of going mad, and you've also accounted for everything, so you're not getting halfway through something and realising you need to go to the wholesalers. You can get that out of the way, or get someone to drop something off, or, you know, you change the plan or whatever. But yeah, so we've got all our MCBs, we got our blanks. I've got loads more of them over there, but they should get me by for now. Got our contactors, main switch, buzz bar links and what have you, some brass nuts and bolts. I've just cut these down just because they're that long, but yeah, just cut them down so that they fit a bit nicer, they look a bit nicer. Got some stuffers for the NYYs. This is our cover. No SPD at the minute. We have got one, a type 1 and 2 SPD, but yeah, the Hager, I mean, I had to wait 2 weeks just for that empty enclosure, so there's obviously something going on, but we're waiting for that. So when it does come, you basically cut this out a little bit more, and the SPD sits next to here, and it has a little buzz bar that just connects it into the main switch as well. So I'll show you that if I get a chance. Got our glands laid out. I've actually got the tops of the glands up there already as well, just checking everything I did yesterday. I know it was, but I always like to check before you start glanding that you're going to get all the glands in. And then we just laid out some tools as well, so I'm going to need a few more bits in this, but at the minute, for the glanding of the armoureds and all that sort of stuff, doing the nuts and all those bits, I just got out what I needed for now, just because it makes life easier. So now I'm going to jump up there. I'm probably going to show you one of them, and then I'll jump on a time lapse or something, but I'm just going to show you how to determine where to gland the armoured off when you've got the armoured in, and you know, you've only got a certain amount of cable to work with, just because there's a few things that I've been taught and a few things I've picked up which I wish I knew a while ago. Would have saved a few short armoureds and stuff. But yeah, I'll show you that. We'll get the GoPro set up, get some tools up there, and we'll get cracking. Right, so I'll just show you what I mean. So where these armoureds are all tied in, looking sweet, we're going to tie them down here. They're obviously going to set into this bend, and then we're going to want to gland them off, and we're going to want them to be bang on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie wrap them in temporarily with some plastic ties, just so that it's true to where it's going to sit, and then I'll show you a little trick to determine that distance. Another way of doing it is with some hose pipe. So I learned that from Instagram from a guy called Eddie Ware. But yeah, you basically tie a bit of hose pipe down as you would the cable, and then, you know, set it and bend it. mark that, and then obviously transpose that onto your cable, and then it'll give you the perfect amount. But I'm going to show you a tie wrap method, which is very, very similar, and it just means tying the cable in basically to the very last point, and then using a tie wrap to do the same thing. So yeah, we'll do that. We'll get these tied in. I'm going to start with this one on the right. I'll show you that, gland it in, and then I'll jump on the time lapse to show you the rest of them. And then these four are just MYY, so they're just stuffing glands, so nice and easy. Okay, so that's holding that true, and then we'll get our armoured here. Now what we want to do is we want to grab this tie wrap. We want to then put it on the back of the cable so that it's true to sort of that. We want to hold it in situ, and then as you can see, that's just there, right? Marked nicely. So now, I'm doing it a bit cack-handed to be honest with you, but now you just cut that flush with that end, which will be there, and then you pull that up onto the back of the cable, and then just get something, ideally like a knife, and just mark that on there. And then if you just want to double check, you can just put your finger back on, push that tight again, just transpose it back on, and yeah, that is bob on. And then obviously you can use this to, say if it's bending or whatever, then you could use that to determine and incorporate the bending radius as well, and the distance of the bend. Ours is pretty straight in that case. So yeah, then of course that is where the cable is going to touch the trunk in, so that's not exactly where we want our gland. So now you want to take my mark, you want to sit, get this out of the way. You want to sit the gland on there, and that's where it enters, and it was over a little bit, so we'll say about there. And then now for my actual armour ends, I need to be cutting it about there. And then as you can see, if I was doing that without doing that, there would be no way to guesstimate that really. It's sitting there, how would you ever know? But yeah, once it falls sort of flat, then yeah, that'll work out nicely. I'll just show you that again, just in case it wasn't very clear, but I'll put that on that mark there, hold it there, change it across, and yeah, so you literally just tapping the top of the trunk in. And then that will get tied in tight. Even with that cable pushed all the way back, we're literally just touching the top of it. So then we've brought that back, we've transposed it onto here, which gives us our entry point for the cable, but of course that's not where we want to strip the arm ends to. We want to strip them further back. So we just line up the gland, and then that gives us a mark of about there. So yeah, just make that a bit better. And then yeah, I'm going to get the armour slice on it now. I've been really getting on with this. Do you know that? I've had it years. I've barely used it, but recently, I think because I've took the time to try it out properly, I really get on with it now. Cool. So I've just overdone it a bit there because I really don't want any hockey sticks. The longer you're making off the cable, the more of a nightmare it is. So yeah, I just want it to be 100%. So now I'm going to determine exactly how much of this cable I need as well, because I've got about 5 meters hanging down, 6 meters hanging down, and realistically I probably need half of that. So it's just going to make the glanding process a bit easier when, you know, I'm sort of cutting that in half. But yeah, so I've got that mark. I'm going to work out how much I need, which is going to be no more worst case than that. So I'm going to grab the bandsaw, cut through this cable here, and then we'll start stripping it off. So normally for this part of the glanding process, I would use my ergo strip actually. It's great for doing the outer sheaths of armoured, but it's on a roof in Andover, where I did that video on top of the giant fridge. Yeah, unfortunately I've left it there, but I'll just use the knife, it's easy enough. I'm just grabbing them all just to get them halfway out the way, but then once we get closer to where we've cut them, scored them, then I'll return to just grabbing a few of them, but I just find it makes life easier when you're stripping them really, really long like this. So yeah, now we're a bit closer. Put a kink in it, and then we can start working them individually. So yeah, that's just now cut perfectly, no hockey sticks or anything like that. So now I'm going to start forming the gland. So what I'm probably going to do, I think, is put the bases in, just because I like to do that in this situation. It means I can get the banjo in, I can get it all tightened up, job done, and then it's just a case of sliding this in with the shroud on and that, and tie wrapping it in afterwards. But yeah, the only thing is as you get more glands in, you really got to think about what you're doing, because you can leave yourself in the situation where you can't tighten a gland up just because it's too tight. But yeah, we'll just work along this back row and then come along the front again, I think. But yeah, I'm going to go get the other bits of the gland and start stripping that. Right, so we want to measure how much we want on this. So about that. Nice and tight. There we go. If you're not wrestling it on, in my opinion, you're not tight enough. Right, I'm also going to cut this tie wrap up here now, just because we don't need to know that anymore. And now I just want to get the rest of the gland on as well. These are real tight. They've given us 20S's for 4mm 3/4, but yeah, it's a bit too tight. But they're fine. Like, they gland off like sweet, but basically just have to like barely tighten them up. What is nice though is because the washer on the IP rated bit is nice and snug, you can use it to hold the gland up like so. Right, so now we just want to be on the shy side of about 20mm. There we go. Always try and cut away if you can. Right, and then just going to bring that out. The reason I'm doing that in this situation is just because it's going to stop that ring from coming off if it gets too low, basically. Because yeah, it's just long, having to go down and get it and that. So now I want to get this in with the banjo. So where did I put the banjo? It's in there. Cool. So put that in. Put these nuts in because I've trimmed these down, and I'm putting two nuts on. Yeah, sort of just covers all the thread and that. There we go. I'll just show you that. So yeah, we've just got the two nuts, and then you can see the threads literally just sat inside the countersunk bit of the nut. So yeah, no sharp edges or anything, and then you've got like a nice finish on top too. I'm just going to bolt this part of the gland down now, tighten that up, and then yeah, we'll slide the armoured in. Do that. When are they going to start making brass lock rings for? Some glands have them actually, don't they? But yeah, I feel like it just ruins the. You go all brass everything, and then yeah. So now I'm just going to keep the lock rings. You can't really see, but on the inside of this, I'm going to keep the lock rings sort of all running parallel, and that will just mean there'll be no conflict because they are quite tightly spaced together. Like, not too tight by any means, but yeah, if you don't, you just want to make your life easy, basically. Sweet, so that is super tight. So now, we try not to knock the camera off. We basically just want to get this in. Slot that through there. And now we're getting to the point where we want to sort of align this. Try to drop it down, so just have a little look. Oh, we've got one that's just slipped through the net. There we go. And now two there. It's probably the one downside of this technique I find is this is more common, getting the arm rings trapped, but it's no drama. So I'll just grab you and show you. So that's that in situ. That can get tie wrapped in nicely, and then yeah, it's literally perfect. So let's get the ring down where we want it to be. Drop the first part of the gland on. Get rid of that because you don't want to annoy the washer at all. Get these out of the way, and then we can just very easily just tighten down. So that's nice and tight, and I'm just going to drop the CW part of the gland down, get this tightened up. So I find with these, the key honestly is less is more, because they you can really easily buckle the washer in there. Yeah, that's sweet. And we'll just slide the boot down. And then we'll get that tied in. Here. There we go. And then you can see, I'm quite annoyed that it's got a kink in it, but we'll be able to work that out. I'm probably just going to put a temporary tie wrap there just to hold it, and then when I come back to when it's all done and that, I'll just cut that off. But even so, you get the idea. So it comes down and then literally it drops in perfectly. So yeah, that is how you do that. Like I say, you can use hose pipe, you can measure it, you can do it a million different ways, but that's how I tend to do it if it's a short distance and stuff. So now I'm going to do the same for these other three armoureds, the four stuffers and stuff too, and then yeah, it's just a case of dropping them down, getting them here ready to be made off into the board. Yeah, I'm just going to jump on a time lapse to put all these away, just because it's the boring bit, and also if I time lapse I can put music on and I won't go insane. But yeah, this is nothing to be fair, but I've done boards where, you know, there's like 20-30 armoureds going into the top of them more sometimes, and yeah, it can be a bit tedious. But yeah, I'll jump on time lapse, I'll film that, and then I can start showing you some of the more interesting stuff. So yeah. Right, so there we have it. That's them all glanded in. That one's still fighting its kink a little bit. Yeah, the others look pretty sweet, all just dropping in. And then yeah, all bolted up and stuff inside. So these MYYs, I've just got to, probably going to strip them, I don't know, either in here or in this trunking, and then I've got to extend the earths down to the board, but the rest of them, like this one's super short, so I'm hoping that will just fall straight into the top of the contactor, and then I haven't got to join it, but we'll see. Obviously the others ain't too bad, but yeah, so now I'm going to find out which one of these is the last man out switch, so I can get that into here as well. I'm probably going to strip them all, get them ready, and then I'm going to do the same with the armoured, stripped and ready down there, and then I'll start doing the breakers and stuff like that with all the cables stripped and prepped, because it's my pet, not my pet hate, but it's probably my least, the thing I enjoy the least is stripping all the inner cores and prepping them all and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, we'll start stripping these and preparing all of the dim rails and that. Look how annoying that is. So close. So close. Oh mate. How annoying is that? Yeah, I might try and lose that. I did that fancy sweep up there, but I might try and nick a bit more on them, just because that is a joke, and just extending it, it's going to look pants compared to the others. But yeah, we'll see. I think, yeah, I am going to do that. I'm definitely going to do that actually. So yeah, I'm going to cut these tyre out to try gain some more, and then yeah, because I'm not having that. So close, man. So yeah, and I think I'm just going to fold the earths up, because they obviously have to get extended down, and then the contactor control circuit, I think I'm going to take the earth up to here and just bolt it to the side of the casing or something, put it on one of these, maybe on one of these roofers, just to, I mean it's all bolted through anyway, but yeah, it means I can send the earth somewhere, I guess. Yeah, I'm going to cut all them and do that now. Right, so I've just took a little bit out of that bend, gained some slack, and now we are here, so just enough to get into the top of the contactors. So I'm going to strip these here, find out what one's last man out switch, strip that as well, get that into here, and then I'll line up all the contactors, leave them prepped, start getting the singles in, and then we can leave that ready for second fix and torquing up, and then yeah, we'll do the same with the DB. So I've just got Cam making up some like pre-made sets of 3 basically, just to get me from the breakers to feed the contactors. So I'm going to explain all this in a sec, but for now I'm just waiting for the last one to be made up. So once that's in, I'm going to line out all the contactors and then try and explain sort of what the crack is with them. It's really simple when you actually see it. I'll probably draw it out as well just to make it easier. But yeah, then we can get this all lidded up, done and dusted, and then yeah, just focus on the board below, and we sort of know this is all sweet then. Yeah, so I'm going to get this last one in. Just thinking, Cam, as well, I'm going to need a neutral and an earth as well for the contactor control circuit. So can you do a 5th one for that? Yeah. Yeah, I've already got the live through the armoured, basically. I've left that long enough to just go straight down to the board. So now, just want to get all these clipped in this way to fit CU, so do that way. Yeah. Cool. So this is basically an 8-way enclosure, but we only need 4 ways. I didn't actually do this on purpose because I don't really believe in it, but some people like to put spaces between the contactors. Don't get me wrong, you definitely need to consider it, definitely, but the current that these are going to be pulling and stuff, I mean, they do get hot, but yeah, I think you only really need to make considerations for it under, you know, special circumstances. But yeah, that's not to say you should neglect the fact that they get hot, and if you can, then definitely, but yeah, if you're working with existing kit or something, I wouldn't go out of your way to change an enclosure to get better space in between them. So I'll draw it out in a sec, but basically these terminals at the back, at the bottom here, they're just your in and out. So circuit's going to come out the top and the feed for the circuit's going to come in the bottom. If you imagine that that's just the circuit running through it, it makes it a lot simpler. And then these are normally open, so you know, in normal conditions they're open, and when you put voltage onto A1 and A2, it pulls a coil in which connects them up. I'll show you in a sec on a drawing, but that's the long and short of it basically in layman's terms. So we're going to have all of our outgoing loads to the lighting circuits going in the top, all of our feeds for each lighting circuit coming in the bottom, and then this grey is going to get sleeved up brown, and that's going to be our switch line from the switch all the way over there. That's going to get linked between all of the A1s. We've got a neutral from the board which is going to get linked between all of the A2s, and then the earth is your earth. It's as simple as that. I'll draw it out for you to try and make more sense of it, but that's the long and short of it. Right, so basically we've got board here. That's no good, is it? Let me get a different one. You've got one. So we've got board here, and then above the board we've got these contactors, and in the contactors you've got 2 terminals. Now these are normally, what should we do it that way, open. So if you imagine we take our live and our neutral from the board and we send it through here, and then these go to our light fitting. So at the minute we've got a break, haven't we, between our live and our neutral, so the light's not going to come on. So what you do is in the contactor there's a coil which comes round like so, and then on that coil you have A1 and A2. Now I don't know the exact sciences, but what I do know is when you energise a coil it creates a magnetic field. So when this coil's energised, this bar that's running through the coil is going to get pulled this way, which is going to put these contacts onto these terminals and that contact onto that terminal, connecting them through. So it's as simple as that. It is just a fancy switch. So when you have your light switch, so you know this is circuit, this is the lighting circuit, but then you have your light switch here, and then you send a live from the board, and then you send that to your A1, and then you have a neutral coming from the board which goes onto your A2. When you close this light switch, which is the light switch we got by the door, it's going to energise A1 and pull this coil in. Now you might be thinking that's a lot of work just to switch a lighting circuit, but what you can do is you can switch multiple loads. So you could have 10, 20, you know, every single lighting circuit within a building. Restaurants that tend to have loads of different switch-ins and dimmings, you can cut all of the feeds just via one last man out switch. So you walk out the building, you cut this switch, it all dies. And then again, if you close that switch, this coil gets energized, and then these contacts link through like so, because that will pull that way, and then light will come on. So it's as simple as that. But yeah, we're doing it for 4 lighting circuits. You could do it for loads. Obviously, this is probably the most basic application for using a contactor. And you can get loads of different ones. Relays are very similar, but they normally have a common in a mid position, and then they have a normally open and normally closed. So obviously it sits in normally closed, and then when you energize, it will go to normally open. Very, very similar. You also have different voltages and stuff like that. You can get real technical. But yeah, generally a lot of commercial applications, and the most basic application of a contactor is this setup. You could also use it to use a small load to switch a big load. You could use it for a fire alarm panel. When a interface goes off, it de-energizes a contactor and cuts a feed to a board. We've also used it for gas solenoids. So yeah, when the fire alarm goes off, it cuts the power to the gas solenoid and also the board. But yeah, loads of different applications. That's it in a real basic one. So I'm going to now do this in practice up there and show you how to do all of that. Right, so these are our feeds. We got 5 circuits. One of them's a contactor control circuit, but the other 4 are our lighting circuits. So we're going to go in 701, 801, 901, 1001. And what that will do is it will just mean, it's not a requirement, but it's just ideal really that you've got 2 30 volts in here rather than 400. Doesn't really matter, but yeah, because you could just label it accordingly. But yeah, we've got the opportunity to do that, so that's what we're going to do. I am going to cable tag the in and outs on the lives. We're not doing it at the board, we're not doing it at the other end, just because we're not using it for that. We're just doing it for if anyone wants to fault find this in the future, they can identify what circuits are passing through each of these and what circuit does the contactor control. But yeah, generally you'd use cable tags to mark at either end to a specification, to a drawing or something, but we're not doing it for any of that. We're just trying to be helpful to anyone in the future. I'm going to put all these away in the top. Another thing, we have got 2 emergency lives. These are going to get called up because basically once the unit's functional, we got told to not allow for any emergency lighting or nothing. Ideally we'd have an emergency light over the board, you'd have your fire exits and stuff, but that's just being left out until yeah, we've got the unit on and we've got the power back on, and we'll be looking at the other units and stuff. So for now, these are just going to get coiled up in the trunking. To be honest, all of the emergency lights are not connected anyway, even the ones with red plugs on, with an emergency feed at the Greg, they've been disconnected at the light fittings. So yeah, we'd have to test and validate all that anyway and do a proper emergency lighting certificate, but there's no signage or stuff like that over the doors either, so that's a whole nother can of worms, so to speak. But yeah, they're going to get coiled up. I'm going to put these into the top of these, put the feeds in the bottom, then we'll do the A1s and A2. Right, so there we have it. So we've got yeah, all 4 circuits leaving the top of the contactors, all of the feeds for them coming in the bottom, and then this is our switch live back from our switch, so it gets sent down the brown. Light switch by the front door comes on, it comes back down this, energizes these contactors and lets the feeds through. Again, if you switch that switch off over by the door, this live will die and these contactors will then open and kill all the lighting circuits. So yeah, we've got the cable tags just here, just for anyone who's got to fault find this, they can know exactly what they're working with. Same with the feeds below. Haven't done the neutrals, haven't done the earths, because you should be able to work it out. Again, we're not doing it to a spec or anything, it's more as a favour for anyone who comes in the future or whatever. But yeah, I'm going to get this trunking lid on now, and then we'll start doing the board below. So that's what I was on about as well. That's just the earth, so the outgoing earth to the light switch, and then the incoming earth, which is going to be in the terminal for the contactor control circuit, so 11L1, and then I've just brass bolted it through just because I didn't fancy taking that off and getting involved with that. But yeah, we've just got a little brass M4 there, so just holding that in, nice and sweet. So yeah, I'm going to leave the cover of this because I want to get some photos for Instagram later. But yeah, I'm going to jump on this now and hopefully get this made off. It's 1:30, so I reckon I'll have the board made off by 2:30, well 2, yeah, around that time, and then yeah, we'll start getting the main incomer in and all that. Right, so I'm just going to drop these breakers in, get them, where have I put them down now? Get them in, but pretty loose basically. They'll all get torqued up in a sec. Get all the blanks in as well, and then we will look at putting all these cables away, which should be pretty swift, to be honest with you, just because yeah, they're all singles, and they're just going to run down the side and in. I used to be really particular about dressing them all in and stuff. And to be honest, if this was a finished install and a completely full board, I'd be like tie wrapping it all and everything. I know how people feel about them, but I just like it to look super neat. But we're literally putting in the bare minimum, and someone's going to come along afterwards and yeah, just do what they want to do, make it look how they want to look. So there's no point going all out when realistically, yeah, someone's just going to come along and lash a load of circuits in. But yeah, they're on. Let's start getting some blanks in, and let's also get, so what have we got? We've got two 16-amp circuits and then another outside lighting circuit. So where's the breaker for that? I haven't got one. That's annoying. Oh well, so that will go there. So let's put some stuff on phase 2 now. Roller shutter doors on phase 2. And then, yeah, I'll have to get another breaker. I'm also out of earth sleeving, I think, so yeah, it's not going to be completely done today, but it'll be there or thereabouts. Right. Start with these. I really don't like these blanks, they're so fiddly. There we go. But yeah, you get the idea. So breaker, a couple of blanks, we'll do that all the way down there. We'll fill the rest up with blanks, and then we'll get them all torqued up, and then we'll start putting these away. I'm probably just going to jump onto a time lapse now just because you don't want to see it over and over, but yeah, you get the idea. Right, so Hager instructions say a minimum torque value of 2.8, a maximum of 3.5. I feel like they're always really loose. I think it's just, yeah, it's just the way it is. But yeah, that means I'm going to be going to the maximum basically of 3.5. So let's get this up to 3.2, 3.4, 3.6. We'll go in the middle. There we go. Get that in, make sure it's locked on. We'll just get these tightened up. There we go. cool. So they're all torqued up. So now I can focus on dropping these in. So let's start with number 1, which Cam didn't mark up. So whatever one, that's 3, that's 4, that's a contactor control, that's 2, which means this one is 1. Let's just get this out of the way, get it separated into its 3s, clarity, form all these over there, and then, yeah, send them into the corner, across, snip it about there. I'm probably really underprepared, yeah I am. So again, I'm just going to be doing these up loose, and I'll run around at the end and torque them all up. Okay, and they want to come in, go down, so the neutral is going to be nah. Come across, into that corner, and then round into number 19. There we go. Sweet. So yeah, you get the idea. Just give you a bit of a close up, but yeah, we're just dropping in like that. Again, just nice little folds, wrapping them around the back and in. So I'm going to do that for all of these now, including the roller shutter doors. I'll strip the lighting circuit and get it prepared to go into one of these. But yeah, they're not, one of them's not on right. There we go. Yeah, get it prepared to go into one of these, but of course I haven't got the breaker, so that'll just get left out. But yeah, I'll get all this put away, and then we'll get the armoured glanded in, and we'll do all the main switch and what have you. Right, so there we go. OCD got the better of me, and tie-ups come out. Just a couple, they're not tight. They're just holding everything in place very loosely. There's loads of play in the cables and stuff. These are already started to drop as well. That's been left for a breaker. I'm putting the lighting circuit up there. I nicked it as well, just being completely honest with you, so I've just oversleeved it. It's a tiny little nick, nothing bad, but yeah, just got oversleeved on the live. And then, yeah, all the neutrals are dressed in. I need some earth sleeving, big enough to go over this, so I'll grab some of that. But yeah, that's all put away. Looks relatively good, could be a lot better. Hager boards are notoriously bad to make them look good, in my opinion, unless you completely cover it all in tie wraps and stuff and sticky pads and just go mad. But it increases the install time, and it's just a nightmare for anyone who needs to work on it. And this board's going to have loads done, you know, there's nothing in here at the minute, so yeah, you're going to have all sorts of circuits going in and stuff. So yeah, but it looks good enough anyway. So yeah, I'm going to bolt on the main switch, and then I think it's 10 to 3, so we might run out of time, and you've all seen an armoured get put away anyway, but yeah, that might be left for Tuesday morning. So yeah, but I'll go through the process of the main switch anyway, show you all that, and then yeah, I think it will be time. Sorry, before we do that, I'm just going to talk these up. So MCBs, Cam just looked online, I get no signal here, but he looked online. MCBs are 2.8 and the earth and neutral bars are 2. So I'm just going to set my torque wrench up. Where is it here? So 2.8 for MCBs. 3.2, 2.8. Cool. Get this back in. Right, we'll get these tightened up. Pop, or was that? There we go. Right, and then what was it? 2 for the bars. The bars are actually quite hard, to be honest with you. If I put that tool in there, just because of the screws in them. But yeah, 2. Especially like the domestic ones, I always struggle. They always end up slipping and stuff. But yeah, that's that one's all right. Right. Won't bother with the blacks because they're going to come out again. There we go. Lovely. Sweet. Right, and then let's do this main switch. So what you have is you have a 100 amp or 125 amp main switch, and then you have these pre-built links. I've got the tickets out, 8 and 10mm bolts. I think it's 5 Newton meters. Ensure the switch connections on the buzz bar links are tightened to 5 Newton meters. And ensure the carp nuts for the phase connections are tightened to 5 Newton meters. Ensure all terminal connections on incomer switch connections are tightened to 3.6. Ensure that connections on the buzz bar links are tightened to 5 Newton meters. So what's that saying then? That's saying the carp bolts are 5. Ensure that all terminal connections on incomer switch D connections are tightened to 3.6. That's D. D 3.2. Right, so yeah, 3.5. Well, it says 3.5 there. It says 3.6 there. But yeah, 3.6 for the there, and then those are 5. Cool. So I'll just grab. Cam's been building these switches with this. So we'll use this for the carp nuts. And then we'll use, obviously, the torque screwdriver for the other ones. But first things first, we'll just get them loosely bolted in and loosely tightened up, and then we'll do them all up afterwards. So that one's just sit on there, and then we've got 1, 3, and 2. What have I done there? Made my life hard, so I sort of want to slot those in first. I do that every time. Right, and then catch those in. Right, we'll get the carp nuts just loosely on. Because you sort of want it all, you want to make sure the switch is in the right place. Fingers. Alright, and then we'll just make sure get these nice and straight, like so. We'll just get these loosely biting. These have a tendency to pull the main switch up. So just want to make sure we don't do that. nice and loosely tightened. Yeah, nice. All seems straight as well. So we'll get the switch side done. So 3.5, 3.4, 3.6. I mean, it does say on the actual wording 3.6, so we'll do that. It's just a diagram that's wrong, but it says 3.6 twice, so there we go. 1, 2, 3. Right, I was right. I'm just going mad. Going absolutely mad. You put them back in the wrong order, didn't you? That's what's throwing me off. I've just been trying to put a 10mm on this, thinking it's an 8. Yeah. Right. So this wants to be set to 5. It's 5, isn't it, mate? It says on that thing. 5 newton meters. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Yeah, cool. Sweet, so they're done up. Could you pass us the neutral one as well, mate, and a 10mm now? So that brass bolt and that neutral terminal there, yeah, and next to it's a terminal, yeah, and then the 10mm, which I think you've just picked up as well. Nice one, brother.
I'll let you go any further.
What do you mean? No, it's really hard to tell, but look, it's sort of... that's the wrong one. See that?
Yeah, yeah. It won't let you go anymore.
Yeah, you can, but it's when that, see that sort of, it pivots. You feel it more, you can't really hear it, but that, you can see it sort of pivot against there.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But yeah. Right, so that is it. Main switch is in, all torqued up, all of these are in. Like I say, we've got a breaker to go in there and some sleeving on, and this has just got to be glanded off, but yeah, 3:06. We've got loads of mess, loads of tools to pack away, loads of stuff to sort out and that. So yeah, we're going to be calling it a day. By the time, we probably won't be 4 o'clock till we're out of here anyway, but yeah, I've got to put the board cover on and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, that is it, made off. So I might show this on another video. We're back next week, but we're actually in the mains hut. So I might show this and a bit of testing and labelling and stuff once it's all done, so you can see the finished result. But yeah, we'll just have to see how we go next week. But yeah, that is it in all of its glory. Pretty happy with it. It's a nice little setup for whoever comes in here and takes it on. But yeah, I've left my tools up there as well, so I'm gonna have to go get them. But yeah, I'll outro the video in a sec once we're all tidied up. Right, so that is us pretty much done for today. Didn't quite get this made off. Got some sleeving to go on, breaker to go in, torque up the contactors and stuff. But yeah, I'm really, really happy with it actually. Put a lot of pride into it. I think that shows. It's not perfect, honestly it's not, especially when you get close up. But yeah, I'm really, really happy with it. It's compliant, it's neat. And ultimately someone's going to come in a couple of weeks anyway to redo this place and just completely ruin it anyway. So I don't want to go too mad. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. We will finish it off Tuesday. So all the bits I mentioned, as well as testing, labelling, all that sort of boring stuff. I'll probably do a video on that just because it might interest some of you. It's stuff I haven't really done. So yeah, that will also include putting this away and earthing it and all that sort of stuff. and yeah, just testing it all up. It will all be dead testing because nothing's live at the minute, but yeah, that will make for an interesting video. And then we'll be over in the mains doing the 800 amp MCCB panel, 185 parallels, torque wrench, metering kits, CTs, all sorts of cool stuff as well. So make sure you stay tuned for that. As always, guys, thanks for watching. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, hit that bell button. Really supports the channel. If you want to support the channel further, you can now join. You get emojis, badges, loads of other cool features, including 5 and 10% off my tool shop loadout. So make sure you check that out too. Most of the tools in the video are available from my tool shop. There'll be a link for that in the description. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you on the next one.